Gula is not here.
Okay. We're finishing off this Gemara.
Bottom of the page.
Yeah,
Okay.
where I'm. Okay. We're finishing off with Gemara. Before I want to go back to just do the Mishnah and a few lines, and then we'll go back to the end of the Gemara.
So we have to keep the walls of the pot and the table warm.
Yes, keep it hot. Keep it on the fire. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol midbarei.
All right. Mishnah number 11? No.
Page Daf Lamed Ches on the base. Let's read the Mishnah again quickly. A few lines of the Gemara, and then we'll go back to finish off over here. You see Lamed Ches on the base in the bottom? You're not allowed to put an egg in the side of a hot pot in order for it to cook so much that you could spin it. Apparently, a cooked egg spins better than a raw egg.
Put on the counter, it has a mind of its own. It moves.
Okay, I don't know.
I thought that just last night I made eggs. It's on a movie.
Okay, but apparently after you cook it, it's mizgalgal easily. I don't know what mizgalgal means. Maybe it spins on its place easily. Something happens once it gets a little cooked that it's megalgal easy. You shouldn't crack an egg into a hot shmata. Rabbi Yossi says it's mutter.
A raw egg, obviously.
Yeah, why? Rashi's it says it's a little bit fried. It doesn't get fried so much, but it gets a little bit fried to the level of tisgalgal. Rabbi Yossi says it's mutter because we're talking about a
Shabbos.
yeah, it's coming from Teldes Shemesh. Bishvil shetitzla is not, you're not allowed to put it into the sand for it to cook, even though lachaida, and everyone agrees, even though lachaida, it is it's chami shemesh.
Is that Tmana? Would that be
Oh, so the Gemara is going to talk about it. Why? Let's read a few lines of the Gemara, then and we'll leave it at this. Yiboyeluhu. V'nei yeshiva gefragt Ashayla. Oh, shkoyach for joining. Taflamet ches amid beis. Yiboyeluhu v'nei yeshiva gefragt Ashayla. Gilgil mai. If a person was megalgal an egg, what's the din? Amr Rabbi Yosef. Rabbi Yosef says gilgul chayv chatos. It's chayv chatos. It's a deirais. Now, when we learned it originally, I had one biur, and now I realized that there's another biur which is more simple and more true, based on if you look later in the Gemara Daf Kuf Mem Hey with this Mishnah that we'll talk about in that Mishnah in a second. I think Gilgul is a very light amount of cooking. Me and you don't know.
Soft boiled.
It's a very soft, very, very soft. We know, I don't know exactly what's the perfect spin to call tisgalgel, but tisgalgel is a soft boiled egg, very, very soft, very runny. Like today, sunny side up, the egg is runny. How runny do you want it? I don't know.
Yeah, always they wanted the way that I know.
Exactly how to make it. Exactly. How you supposed to know?
Yeah.
So apparently it's very light, and that's why the Gemara is asking Gilgil Amai because he did something kalmen akalam. He didn't make a hard boiled egg. You could eat a raw egg too. Elamai, he applied a little bit of heat. It was still a runny egg. It's still a runny egg. That I think was a shadow in the Gemara. Because if you look later in the Gemara, Kol Shabbat, in a minute we'll see the Mishnah from Daf Kuf Mem Hey Amud Beis. When you look in the Gemara, you get the feeling that was really the shadow. And maybe we'll look at the Gemara next week or the week after. Amar Mar Bered Rabin Afan Tanina. We learned the Mishnah. Anything that was cooked before Shabbos, you're allowed to soak it in hot water before Shabbos. Why? Because once it's cooked, it's cooked, it's cooked, it's cooked. You can't cook it a second time. It's cooked. Gandikt. Once it's cooked, it's cooked.
Aren't you making it better though at a certain level of?
I know. This is the $1 million question about bishlach, bishul afiach, bishul tzliach, bishul Afiyah, Afiyah, Tzliach, Tzliah. And this is going to be the very fun sugya we're going to get into in Shimon and Simon Shin Yud Ches. But this is the foundation for the sugya. The Mishnah says, "Kol shabbat b'chamam elifnei sham sharim b'chamam b'shabbos." It's already cooked. It's cooked. Yandikt. You can't recook something a second time. Kol shaloi b'chamam elifnei Shabbos. If it wasn't cooked yet, medichin oisei b'chamam b'shabbos. You're allowed to be mediachet b'shabbos. Chutz min hamaliach yoshan v'kul yisei sponim. These two things. Wash it with hot water. Toy says a shayla. If we're talking washing, it's eating a klidishin. We're talking about klisheni.
So if you take boiling hot water and a raw egg, leave it there for 5 minutes, you can't do that.
We said the egg is very sensitive, just like the maliach hayoshem v'kul yisei sponim.
Egg? Like one.
Shadachos and zui gemar malachtan. Shema mino, just like over there. That these two things, maliach hayoshem v'kul yisei sponim, is you blink and it's cooked. The egg also, you blink, it's cooked. Why? Because these two things, you could eat it raw, and when you decide to cook it, you don't have to cook it that much. And therefore, we're very machmir when it comes to this. Daf Lamed Ches. We went back just to do the Mishnah before we go to the end of the Gemara. Daf Lamed Tes, Amud Aleph, the top line. Does that top line? I'm just going to read it quickly again from the top line of Daf Lamed Tes, Amud Aleph, and then we'll do the Rashi again. Zog the Mishnah. Anything that was in the hot before Shabbos, you're allowed to soak it in the hot on Shabbos because it's already cooked. It's cooked. If it wasn't in the hot before Shabbos, you could be madiachit with hot and Shabbos. These two items, and just being madiachit without water, that bad finish. That's already called gemar malachah. Kulya is punished that Rashi says is a tuna.
Fish.
Agam, lav dafka, what Rashi calls tuna is what we call a tuna. The Horaya will learn a dak Gemara of Kufma maybe next week, and you'll see why I'm saying this. Rashi, let's learn all the Rashis from the top line.
Which fish?
Yeah, it makes a difference. I guess these Malich Yoshim, Kulya says punished. Yeah, it's cooked like that.
1 second.
Today, Taka. Okay.
Salmon.
More even tuna. They have Baruch Hashem. Based Menachem Mendel has the fanciest kiddush in planet Earth, and Chaz de Hashem sekum tzargei noch here
Tuna.
otazoi. So there is such a thing called sear tuna. What's the Indian from sear tuna? This is kulyas. This is mamish kulyas isponim. This is mamish. If you want to understand what's misha lo yigil la Beis Menachem Mendel kiddush lo yira kiddush miyamov. And
Come back for a long time because he got a lot of there.
And also he doesn't understand what's kul yisei sponim. When you see this Indian, what's up shot? So they take a blowtorch and they put it a little bit around the fish, and geendikt nigmar. They tell you it's cooked.
The truth is, the tuna you can eat it raw.
Oh,
Sushi.
otazoi. The emes you can eat it raw. Varaya the sushi they eat it raw. Elamai. You want it cooked. It's so fancy.
Right.
Take a blowtorch and a little bit of fire.
Basically, the guy is the torture. Like,
Yeah.
he's the plumber. Well, why? I
Otazoi.
didn't understand. Now it's not.
A bissel this. It's called sear tuna. So that's the two things. An egg also. Egg you could eat a raw egg, and just like tuna, you could eat sushi. Elamai. Some person wants a bissel cooked. He wants a soft boiled egg, or a sunny side, or up very very runny.
Yeah.
Bissel hits, and already chayiv chatos. Same thing with sear tuna. A little bit of heat, chayiv chatos. Because it's mevashel. Rashi kosher babacham, kol maluch shabacham erev Shabbos. If it was already Becham and Erev Shabbos, you could put it Vishoyde Becham B'Shabbos. Maybe Mishum Tikkun. Should it taken kvar? It was already. It's a good question. But this is the whole sugya of Bishul Achar Bishul. This is taka the whole sugya. This is the sugya.
He doesn't want to call it the bishul. It's the taken.
Yeah.
לתקן אותם בלא מבושל.
Right. So little that is not. You can't give it a name bishul.
לתקן is to fix.
Yeah, but you fix it to be able to eat, but it's not bishul.
Yeah. Chutz me dog maloch yoshin, I could you say sponin. Rashi says dog shakorin tunina.
Tunina.
I'll tell you next week why. I'm not sure if this is really tuna, but it sounds that way too.
Maybe the tilapia.
Exactly.
Nah.
Shadachos is a gemar malachta.
Tilapia is like a flat
Yeah,
fish.
absolutely.
Again.
Yeah, it's a garnish. A second, it's
Yes.
again gekocht. Shadachos is a gemar malachta. Mit the korle gemar malachta. Shmamino ze bishule v'chayiv. You say agdachos is a gemar malachta today. Oh, that's a pshat. That's bishule v'chayiv. Yeah, we're gonna get a lot into the sugya. We're gonna get into the sugya. There's a toisus here we have to learn still, and we're gonna get into the sugya. You know, let's read just a few more lines. Lev kenem b'sadorim vadnan neisen tafshel techaber b'shul sheishama v'samam yefim berem b'shul sheitzananu. Tzitzanim mechanim b'shul sheichama. So you're allowed to put the tzayin in the chama for it to get hot. So lema Reb Yosi. So we see that the Stam Mishnah that says you're allowed to put the cold water under the sun is Reb Yosi. So it's interesting. It's the Stam Mishnah later in our Masechta, which usually the Lach Stam Mishnah is going to end up being like Reb Yosi, but later on, Reb Nachman, the Rechma says no. If you're cooking in the sun, everyone says it's mutter. But tell the Sa'ir, if it's tel the Sa'ir, the Chobad days it's also. Keep looking at tel the Sachama. If it's tel the Sachama, Marsa Gezirin tel the Sachama or to tel the Sa'ir, Marsa Gezirin. One sheet that holds your geyser, is he going to get confused? And the other one says, we're not geyser. You're not.
You took a piece of material, you make it hot in the sun, and then you put something inside.
Yeah.
But I would think the other way around. Take it from the colors, not from the shemesh, but from the colors chama, from the hot the stove. You put them there. You would think you might
I thought it was
as
the
well
same
also.
thing.
But shemesh, I mean, it's very a non-normal way of cooking. Shemesh. It's very real.
It's not because it's not the normal. We're going to learn tomorrow in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch, because everything we learn from the Mishkan. And the Mishkan they cooked only with tulda sa'ir and not with tulda sachama.
Yeah, I thought it was the same thing. Tulda
Chama
Sachama
means it's from the sun, from the oil, it's from a fire.
Ah.
From gas,
Okay.
from coal, wood. Was on design.
The truth is, in the beach and not the soil in the summertime, you could put the pot on the sand
That's what I'm
and cook egg.
Yes. Yeah.
Can ask his nephew, his grandkids in Texas over there. It's the same thing. Very hot over there.
Okay. We're going to talk tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem. There is in Eretz Yisrael, there's such a thing called a dud famish. That if you fly when you coming into the Ben Gurion airport and you're looking out the window, every roof, every house,
only a half hour worth of hot water.
Every house
Has
has a dud shamish. See, in every roof, you
Everybody
see.
gets 10 minutes in the shower max.
So
dud
shamish is it's similar to solar, but it's much more primitive and simple. It's
Instead of warm up with electric, let the sun warm the water, and that's it.
yeah,
For
but
free.
for
For
free.
free.
You get hot water for free in Israel.
So then you have electric heater inside. You turn on the electric.
But
Yeah.
there's still a
That's how
sun.
you know if it's an Arab house or a
Huh?
Jewish house. If there's
What?
a black one or a white one. That's how you
Oh,
know
yeah?
if it's a Jewish house. Yeah, because the black ones are Arabs, the white ones are Jews.
Why?
I don't know. That was the law that they passed many years ago. I don't know why.
Wow, interesting.
The law is what?
I guess
says
if
the
you get
laws
lost,
that you-
you'll know if you're in the Jewish area.
The Eden have white ones and the Arabs have black ones.
Black ones, yeah.
You know it's a black house.
Yeah. There's a Moedidike discussion about this. There's a Moedidike discussion about Poiskim and Eretz Yisrael. It's a machlokes that's never going to end. There are those that are makel with the hot water from a dud shemish. They say, listen, Shabbos. They say, listen, it's told as a chama. It's being cooked by the chama. There are people that say, no, but they say, no, it's not. They have a kama time. And first of all, it's not cooking mamish. It's not the pshat. You take a cup of hot water and you're putting it on the sun like the Mishnah was talking about, where we said, you're taking a piece of glass, you're magnifying glass, you're all kinds of tricks that you're doing. It's not stam. Toildas Hacham.
But when you
Number.
open up the water, then cold water goes back in, so you're cooking new water in Shabbos.
I didn't look in the omek to the what's called. I don't know if that's one of the issues. Could be that's one of the issues. One of the issues Shmini Shabbos Kilchotza does bring. He says the word goizer. It's something which it's not clear. We're goizer because person's going to think it's told us, oh, just like over here, we pass like that if you're frying an egg in a shmata, no one knows if the shmata was in the oven or the shmata was under the sun. How are they supposed to know? How the
Yeah.
That's taka usually, but most people are not going to put a shmata in the oven. Spoke about it when we learned it, but some people will. So b'meila, therefore chum goizer. So they said the same thing here to do chemish. Taka the du chemish, and everyone in Israel knows that the du chemish is a du chemish. But Lapoil in the winter, when there's not enough sun, you have electricity, and the heat is coming.
The heater.
And yeah, there's from a heating element, and that's called ha'oil. So how is a person supposed to know when you're opening up the faucet in the kitchen if this water is tuldas ha'oil or tuldas ha'chama? And any time when there's a suffix, maybe it's tuldas ha'oil, tuldas ha'chama. It's a machlokes to the BOC. Chama, we pass on chama. We go there, or to ha. Oh, they say, you made your own zedis. Okay, I'm just telling you, there's a big discussion there at Yisrael about using a du chemish kumdamani that the Furim Oilam does not use the hot water from a du chemish.
None of the same problem.
There's another issue which we're going to talk about tomorrow night. There's another issue which is a massive issue, which is being nana from something which is Chilul Shabbos. Being nana because we pass like a Yehuda, that if he did something b'mezid is for him, it's also elamis. For everyone else, it's also only till Matzah Shabbos. There's a famous tshuva from the Ksav Sofer that all the Tefais can talk about. But what happens if it says the Ksav Sofer is a factory and he's making stuff to sell to Frumagid? So that and the factory is open on Shabbos.
You're not allowed to buy from them.
Oh, so he says you're not allowed. B'mezid is also loyal alamis and achedim muter b'matzah Shabbos miyad. That's if he made it for himself. But if he made it for the achedim, he made it for the achedim.
When I was a kid in Kfar Chabad, I remember asking to bring a generator to Kfar Chabad to create electric on Shabbos. Why? Because the Jewish people are paying the electric for them.
Otazoy.
The Chazon Ish didn't use electricity.
Otazoy, the Lubavitch and the Chazon Ish, the Zolbazak, they don't want to be nana on Shabbos. Because they eat, and it's on Shabbos, the Chager. So if you're talking about products, if you notice, Amol, I don't see it lately. A lot of the Sidurim and this, it says Nasa, Minayer, She'em B'Chash Chilul Shabbos. Nitfas B'Mifal She'em B'Chash Chilul Shabbos. There were Gedolei Yisrael that said, Rabbanah, you're coming Rosh and Kippur, you're coming Shabbos and Shul, you're opening up a Siddur, Enka Tega Nasa Saneged. This Siddur was printed on Shabbos, on paper that was made on Shabbos. And it's Maisa Shabbos. You're going to say it's a dumb b'mezid, but it's mutter lachedim. It's not posh, it's mutter lachedim. But it was made for the achedim. It was made for the achedim. This is a bavusta tshuva from the Ksav Sofer.
Even if the factory is open on Shabbat, but most of the stuff is produced during the weekdays. And when you buy some by products,
I hear. Yeah. So Dak, I'll just say that listen, as Lina Basaroy. There's the factory is open for 7 days a week. Shabbos is one of 7, so it should go Bazlin and Basarov. But then there's a whole discussion if it's bottle berov, it's not bottle berov, these stuff. Okay, I'm just bringing up the.
What if it's made by a goy?
Huh?
What if it's made by a goy?
This is printed in China.
Yeah. I think that's why.
Exactly.
Because today so much of the paper coming from China, some of the printing is coming from China. So therefore,
I don't know. You telling him I need 1,000 sidurim.
Yeah.
And that's it. You pay him and go by. You don't know when he's making.
I think that's really why today you don't see. I'm telling you, look at a lot of the sidurim, the chumashim, this nitfas, but al nayash ein b'chash chilul Shabbos.
Because by the Rambam,
You don't
he
see
says,
it lately that much.
the Rambam says you could do it because you give the goy, you give him
Oh yeah, that's something else. I think it's making a friend in China. They basically but yeah, the old and a lot of the old Sforim they used to write. And like when you open up right over here, they used to have it right over here. They don't have it anymore. Oh, yeah, look, this Gemara has it. Nitfas al nair chul, shein b'chshash chil Shabbos. Ah, is he? Is he? Oh, is Vader. Oh, printed and edit Yisrael.
I tell you the iron.
There's a big bakery in Israel called Angels.
Angels, yeah.
Produce more than 1 million bread a day. Who is the most of the customers? Phone. Not long ago, they went with the left, the owner went the left with something against the Haredi. The few Rabbonim says, for 1 week nobody touched the bread. They changed their mind so fast. They lost the defense like so fast. Like, the power of the Haredi invite.
Oh,
And the Rabbonim says, no, they're not allowed to.
that's also what what you just said is mamish what a lot of Rabbanim were saying about paper that was printed in the Chilul Shabbos. Say bottle shmottel. They said, I don't understand. You're Messiah there Veda, and you're Messiah. Try not buying their products
Then they also
and see what's going to happen.
exactly.
So when you're buying their products,
They
you
continue.
Messiah there Veda. This is a
That's why
video.
we allow also to eat the fly Shabbos.
Right? I said, listen, when our oilam was tiny, biny, it's given
They could do what they want.
Oh, so then
We are the most.
but now that we're the buying power, the full oilam is massive.
Yeah.
So now that's a tiny, nishmas. So these are the two things I want to talk about tomorrow. Today I want to talk a little bit in what's the difference of Tul de Sachama and Tul de So'er. There's a Geshmak Sikha. I was scholishing to talk about it around the Shavuos time. I didn't get a chance. So tonight we have a chance to talk about it. Why is it no? No. But when it comes to Torah, Yidden is chalish.
Professor Barnum came to the Chiddush of the Rebbe was
Yeah.
for maybe a long time, and he told the Rebbe he has a way to produce from the sun and soil electric for the total, but the government doesn't let him do it. He could energize enough
From the
radiation
from
the
the
sun
sun.
that he could make electric power to solar for free.
Wow.
Yeah.
Professor Vanova, I spoke about him last week, 2 weeks ago, Shabbos. Okay, so Azori. What's the difference between Tel de Sacham and Tel de So'er? So we're going to learn tomorrow in the Alter Rebbe's Shulchan Aruch, because when they cooked in the Mishkan, they were cooking samamonim, they were cooking this, they were cooking that, they were making things that are hard, soft, hard, and they were cooking it only with fire, which is Tel de So'er, not Tel de Sacham. Why were they not using Tel de Sacham? I guess they were Nanane Akovid. How are you going to use okay, anyway, let's start a big cute. Okay. What's the Taka de Chiluk? What's Taka de Nafkamina? Heute in Verstanden. I would say, and avoid the Hashem, it's very simple. What's the union of heat? The heat changes the muhus of something. A Yid has to, like the Alter Rebbe said to Chosid, that he has to have libun. Libun, he has to change, he has to have libun.
What's the lotion with it?
So it's netazim imen, it's brought na yom yom. So ebazoi, there's two types of heat. There is sarus leila, sarus latata. Sarus leila is achame ha'oir. I'm sorry, chame achama. Oir achama. What does this? Coming from the Himmel. What is sarus latata? Is oir. Chame ha'oir. That the yid makes the fire.
So Anane Hakavit had to be physical. Maybe it's roughly is that the heat came through. I don't know.
Anyway, so the shaila is what's the avodas Hashem of a yid? Avodas Hashem a yid we learn from the Mishkan. What is my avoid? What is my avoid? This Yidua the Maisa, and this is the Maisa that I wanted to talk about. The Rebbe spoke about it several times. The Rebbe moedidik koch in this Maisa. Yidua that the Rebbetzin Verleya was the daughter of the Alter Rebbe. It's a long story about that she had Mesiras Nefesh. She said that was exiled against her father, and she took a bezin, and she said she was makabel that she's going to pass away, and her father should live in order for him to be able to teach the Torah and to mefutza meine sefer chutza. Chachava, she passed away, and the Alter Rebbe, she had a baby. The baby was very, very young, and the Alter Rebbe said that they should take the baby's vigila and put it in his room. And the Mamish grew up al birke the Alter Rebbe. Huh? Right, exactly. Because of
Because of her.
because
Because of him.
right, right,
Because of her. He heard to see this as a baby.
exactly.
She's finished.
And the story with the potatoes and the film that there was that that when the Tzemach Tzedek became Rebbe, what happened was that he said a mime. The first mime he said, Isaac Homler, uh, uh, what happened was that he was like his face turned red. He was bespoilus. What happened? That Tzemach Tzedek was a little boy, and he took potatoes and he cut it out as if it's the shape of film, and he took strings and he wrapped it around, and that was his toy. You know, if today you go to Eichler's for $25, you can get plastic film. It's such a cute item. It's a very cute item, by the way.
With the talis.
Huh?
With the talis.
Yeah, you can buy it today.
My grandchild.
Yeah,
Plastic talit?
Talit.
Plastic talit or regular?
No,
that's
talit.
yeah, cute. And then film with the tsuas. It's very cute. It's very cute.
With the head.
And so what happened? That the Alter was saying a maimer, and then the Tzemach Tzedek was running around as a kid, and the Ritzuis got stuck on a chair, and he was trying to unstuck it, untie it, and Reb Isaac was standing and listening to maimer, and it was disturbing him that a kid was playing by his feet. So all of a sudden, the Alter Rebbe stopped and he said, "Don't worry about it. I heard it, and bald is noch wissen, as I heard that." Oh, the Rebbe Isaac was thinking, does this kid B'chal understand what Zayd is saying? So the Alter Rebbe was like, read his mind. He said, "Don't worry. He hears. One day you're gonna know
That
he heard it. The day that the Tzemach Tzedek became Rebbe, he said a maimer, and he said that maimer that the Alter Rebbe said when he was playing as a little kid with the potatoes." So that Isaac was bespoilus. That Taka turns out the Alter Rebbe was right, that he was a little kid and he was able to hear, and he heard the maimer. So Tzemach Tzedek read his mind and he said, "It's not a big deal. The Alter Rebbe is standing here and he told me to say the maimer." So the Tzemach Tzedek once said that the Alter Rebbe told him, "I want to give you Torah b'matona." And Tzemach Tzedek refused to take it. Could you imagine someone told you taking the Oitzer HaChochma, this tiny disc, and they'll just download it into your head? The whole thing. Huh? Exactly. Don't ask me twice. Put it straight in.
Far from there.
Huh?
We're not from it.
Alavai.
But when we were born,
Alavai.
like this, we were born.
Okay, but now after Bar Mitzvah, put the whole thing into my head. Machaya. Tzemach Tzedek refused. Tzemach Tzedek said that Torah has to come through Yigiyah. And later he had Charot, because he said the Torah is Ein Sof. So he should have taken the gift, that Torah that the Alter wanted to give him b'matona, and the Yigiyah will be on bigger and better issues. The Rebbe asked, "L'choira mikora ma'ikosavar or l'besoif ma'ikosavar?" You don't have to be a brilliant person to figure out that Torah is Ein Sof. A fool will think that Torah has a Sof. A person that understands that the Rebbeinu Shalom is Ein Sof will understand that the Torah Hashem is Ein Sof. So why couldn't the Tzemach Tzedek think of it? What he couldn't figure this Nekuda out when he was younger? Now it was too late. The Rebbe had several biurim. The Rebbe said, first was a funny, interesting lotion. The Rebbe said that Fabring, and it bothered him. And no one ever asked him a shaila about the story. How come no one asked a shaila on such a story that's been disparsed so many times about the Tzemach Tzedek? It's funny why the Rebbe bothered him, but no one asked a shaila. It's a shaila. A ma'aser that Tzemach Tzedek, he was young, he was frivolous, he was getracht. The Rebbe bothered him. No one ever asked, how come? The Rebbe said that he thought about it many times, and that there's a svara lakan, a svara lakan. There is a svara to say that the whole value of Torah, Siddur says that why did the Yidden have to go to Mitzrayim? Because Torah has to be that in order for the Yid to be roy to Mekabel Torah, he has to be purified. And after the Yid is purified, then he can get the Torah. And it wasn't only something that happened 3,338 years ago. Also now, Ayid, the Gemara said that the Zoya says, "V'chomer belveinim, v'chol avodah b'sod is kol avodas dosum shavdem b'chorev b'fore, v'chomer is a kal v'chomer, belveinim is a libin hilchos." The Rebbe had a big koch in it, and the Rebbe said the pshat in the Zoya is that a yid has to have yagia. Sometimes you have to purify yourself. So the shaila is how are you going to purify yourself? So by trying to learn and trying to break your head to understand, like that's mevara the yid. Yid becomes roy to get the Torah inside. Huh? He tries to understand the kalvachomer and Gzera Shabbat. Well, listen, Moshe Rabbeinu was also a shtickle and golus. Look, he went back to Mitzrayim.
No,
So
but he got it as a total makano, or he worked
he wasn't Mitzrayim. No, he went
No,
back to
no,
Mitzrayim.
I got the Torah as makano.
Stama, he worked on himself. Yigia. Rebbe says, "What's up, shot? Eis kol avodos m'shavdim bechorich." Chazal say they made the men work women's work, women the men. Why? Because it's not your regilas. It's very hard to do something. A man does this stuff. A woman does this stuff. To be mahapach the yotz is very hard. That's the Indian of the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Perek Tezvov, that a person has to do hepach is teva. The chiddush and avodah Hashem is to do different things that are hard for me to do, not what's easy for me to do. So therefore, this is critical in the Indian of Torah. The Indian of Yegiya is not stam azaytik azach. It's not, you guys to mitzvahs timing. Listen, verstehen nicht the Toisus. However, is to verstehen the Toisus. It's not just a side nekuda. It's not just salt and pepper. This is the side of learning Torah. This Torah has to purify me. If I'm not putting in the Yegiya, it's not purifying me. So therefore, mikara kasavar that's so therefore, what's the point of taking a shortcut? The soif, my kasavar, is the end. At the end of the day, a person only has a certain limited days to live. 100 years, 110 years, 120 years. David shall help him that every yid should live long years and healthy years, but still, a person only has a limited amount of time to live. So why not, if you could take something b'matona, take it b'matona, and the Yegiya, which has to taka, Yegiya is a very big thing. And we say that Avram Avinu Ekev Shemata Avram Bekoilach says the piyata from Adavine, that a person who's a Oived Hashem, even his toenail, his toe, is a different toe. It's not the toe of a goy and the toe of a yid. It's an andazach. We learn tomorrow. Next week we're going to learn the Gemara that the goyim are full of zuama. The goyish guf is full of zuama. A yid is from Poskazum from Mount Torah. Okay, then they sinned, something came, but it's still not the same. A yid is not like a goy. A yid that works in his avodas Hashem, even his toe is different. It's a different toe. That comes through Yegiya. That doesn't come automatically. That comes through Yegiya, through Yisrael Slatata. And therefore, Mikara, that Tzemach Tzaddik said, what's the point? Something that's not coming to Yegiya is Nishnageya. But then he said, look, a person only has a finite time to live, so I should have taken that my time. Like, yeah. The Rebbe then said another pshat, that a person, in order to get the matana, at least he has to have a general hachana to be zoicha to this matana. At that point, he wasn't yet ready. But when he was ready, it was too late. So it wasn't such a mikora, because it was more of a shucks. I wish at that point I was ready, or I wish at this point Al Rebbe was still around and the offer is around. But Taka at that point he wasn't ready, and the later point he was ready. That was the second beard of the Rebbe. But Vissel Narner Zayin, the biur, I think it's a very gishmaka. The story, I always think about the story because I'm thinking, like, who knows, maybe we'll all be zeicha. The Alter Rebbe will make us an offer. We will not make the mistake. We know already what to say. So this is the difference of Teildas Achama and Teildas Ha'oir. Teildas Achama is not called Malachas HaMishkan. So the Alter Rebbe gives it v'matona. The Eibishter is giving it us v'matona. That's not Mesiachas to us. The Lamatas Malachas is our avodah. It's what we have to do. Avodah, v'chulu, this is the Taka Shabbos, Hayotzim HaKlal. We don't do the avodah, but during the week, because Shabbos means Aliyah Soilam, Shteit Hecher. But this is the Lamatas Malachas avodah Hashem. So, the heat that comes to the Zachama, das heißt nicht unser avodah Hashem. Unser avodah Hashem is the hard work that we're putting in, the Yogaita Matzasa. That's counted as avodas Hashem. Okay.
Maybe got there the Schnell. Oh, from the
Vedas.
the there's nothing put him over there. It's Milamala. They're from Nigle you have to walk. You can't know that.
But you could say that's what the Alter Rebbe offered to what's called Nishkefela.
Right.
It's a Shneur Veda Oides coming. Okay, turn the page to where we're holding. Daf Mem Aleph Amad Aleph.
Skipping.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back because to just read the Mishnah. We're holding Daf Mem Aleph Amad Aleph Amad Abzeda. Amad Abzeda. Abzeda said, "Anoch v'isal Rebabo sheniach yodav keneged ponim shalmata." Rabbi Zayda said, I saw that Rebabo put his hands keneged his erbe. V'lo nogi loy nog. I don't know if he touched it. So Gemara, what do you mean? Pshita de lo noga. In other words, he saw him going to the mikveh, and he put his hand over his erbe. The pshita de lo noga. Obviously, he didn't touch his erbe. The Tanya Rebbe Lezer emekolo yeshel b'amem mashri kilo maybe babad loy. That if a person touches his amma b'shas his mashtin, he's bringing a mabel because that was the Aveda. Rashi says 4 lines from the top and the small lines. Kilo maybe mave lo'olam. Shemes famam or boli de keri. Mezekil kula sheder amabel. Shemetzim shich vazer lavadol. Kidiksiv ki hishchis kol basa. That was the Aveda of the der amabel. That was their main Aveda. So Amar Abaya asu kibloishes. Then over here it was like a bloishes. What's a bloishes? Bloishes means bekitzer when a person is very scared. When a person is trembling, he doesn't have time to have that hidhulim. So the Gemara is going to say, which I'm going to read it inside, that what we're talking about was he went to the mikveh, and he wasn't going to Haisa mikveh over here in the Reuben Shul mikveh, the Rabbi or the Frankel mikveh. He went to Anor, and there's currents, and it could be a little dangerous. So B'shas Maisa, he wanted Mitzad Atznius to put his hand over his erva. So at that point, is a person is so nervous, it's not shaykh he'll have hirhurim and calmly de aveda. Nah, Bloishes came into the city. Soldiers walked into the city. Shashalom chavis psuchas asuris stumas motoris. If it's shashalom, they're not fighting against the people in the city. So any chavis at psucha, we assume that they went into Manaseich lavay dezora. But the stumas they're not going to bother with. Shas Muhammad. But if it's Shas Muhammad, elam motoris. All wine is mutter. If they don't have time to be menaseich. They're nervous. It's the middle of a war, and they're not going to stop in the middle of a war to stop being menaseach. Yain lavay dezora. Alma given the BC loy menaschi. So we see when the guy is nervous, he's not menaseach the yain lavay dezora. Chanami given the boys because he was nervous. Rebabo was going to bathe in a river, and there could be currents, and it could be dangerous. Also, Li'irhudi is not shaykh that will come to here.
Why do you ever have to bring a ride from soldiers from Goyim? I mean, talking about this great.
Yeah, right, because forget it, because it's a teva. He just wanted to b'shas a teva. When a person is nervous, everything is different. So he just wanted to bring a raya that the teva b'nei odom is even a goy. B'shas he's nervous, so hat nicht kein Zeit zu trachten von andere Sachen besides his survival. So same thing here, because there's currents in the river, and he has no time to think about anything. Hirurim. So therefore, and he wanted to beat Sanua, so therefore it's not a problem. It might be Susa. Susa the Nara, because he was nervous of the currents. So therefore, putting his hand over his head is not a problem. So the Gemara has a different problem. Not because of the Gemara says Eni Chabakash. Taka, you answered that Hirurim Roim is not Shayel. Dinya of Doira Mabel is not shaykh. Okay, but I have a different problem. He's embarrassed to show the world that he has a bris, so therefore he's putting his hand over his erva. So the Gemara says, no, that's not that's different. Like Hasha. If you're going down to the river, so it's sanua, no one's looking at you. So why are you covering? Elamai Hashem from Brisa Shel Avram Avinu. Haki Solik when he's going out, and it's a beach. People are sitting on the beach, and he wants to be tzanuas. It's not a problem. Whenever Rava went to the river and he undressed, he would bend down to be tzanua. If Zayda was Zokif, he stands straight because he was choishish for the shita that Rav that he looks like a koif of a Brisa Shel Avram Avinu. Yabonon, the Veda Vashi, had a pshora. Depends. Ki kon nachsi, when they were going down, going into the water, so their ponim was away from, no one's looking at them. Obviously, we're talking about that it's a big river, and the people that are on the beach are only behind them, not in front of them. So therefore, Zakfi, they stood straight. That shouldn't be Chas v'Shalom as if they're embarrassed of Yisrael Abraham Avinu. Because Salki, when they walked out, Shachid bent in order to be Tzanua. Okay, so that's the answer. So both kashas is kinkashanish. So the kasha of the Doira Mabel is nishkin kasha because Isusa the Nahara. And the fact that he put his hand over his erva probably happened when he was walking out of the river and upon of klape or om. So therefore it's muta because it's nias, and we don't say that it looks like he's ashamed of Brisa Shel Avram Avinu. Reb Zera kev mishtamet me Reb Yehuda the boy lamesek la'ared Yisrael. Reb Zera wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael, but the problem was that Reb Yehuda wouldn't allow him. The Amar Reb Yehuda called oila me bavel Eretz Yisrael oive basei shenema bavelo yavoyu v'shama yiyu. It's a pelodike din. It's a pelodike din. Huh? And it's brought in the Rambam. Huh? Right. No, Bavelo, it's talking about the Churban. Here, they have in the side over here, the pasuk. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a pella. It's probably because it's
No, it's a Nuknari.
it's a Navi.
Yeah.
But you could say it's talking about the what Rashi says already. The Bzeda holds. Look in Rashi. And Bzeda Amalach Haikra betli Shoris Tzig. I mean in the Mishnah there in Exodus. Check what the pasuk is talking about. I mean, in Pshat, not a Pialoch, you could say that they were talking about those people that died. That those people, Taka, because 70 years by the time these people were adults, they were 20, 30. So by the time it was the Eden Taka was only the children. That's what. But the Gemara nemt nicht the Gemara nemt on that the Nevuah is Kipshutik. Elamai, the Shaila is talking about the Kalim of the base of English, is talking about the people. If this is talking about the people.
What's it is go from Bible to
Because it's a good question. There's a whole discussion about it. One of the things is because it's a Makim Torah. Because it's a Makim Torah. That they're not. Yeah, yeah. No, what's the first? Shavuos is also the first. There's different Shavuos. There's the Shavuos that the Eibushter made, and there's the Shavuos of the Nebuchadnezzar against Tzidkiyahu. But that wasn't against the Eden. Tzidkiyahu lied and he made Shavuos. But this is a Shaila. Yid that lives in Bavel is not allowed to make Aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. Now, how Freksach Shaila? What's going out? Obviously, it's not a big question. It was Pikuach Nefesh. That's what I'm saying. The Yidden that went from Iraq to Eretz Yisraal,
1951,
right?
Already 250,000 Iraqis.
There was 250.
250. My parents, my sister, or one.
How much?
Two.
On the camera, they walk.
They gave him 2 days to pick up. They said,
Well, camera.
No, but it's the emesis was pikuach nefesh. It was no joke. That it's not a
they
shy.
gave them 2 days.
Right.
Pick up. Leave.
Gegangen. Okay. You know what? They did us a favor. Otherwise, it'd be a shaila. If you're allowed to go, you're not allowed to go. Now that they force,
The Satmars bring this as part of their theory about not going to Eretz Yisrael. So I said that it's a good notion that like this. If someone who committed a crime and he was sentenced to X years in jail, so if he breaks out before the time, he's asking for trouble. If he wants to, if he wants to stay beyond his time, he said that he stays stupid.
Exactly. They huh? He went to a visit. When Ishchai went back, and the Rambam is a pella with Mitzrayim, everything is a separate child. And Ishchai went back.
So what's the issue of going there? Sure.
Okay, let's finish off the. I'm an Ezel Veshem and Emilza. I want to hear something before I go to Eretz Yisrael. Mamish, like the story with the Baal Shem Tov. The story, it's like Mamish, the same ring of the Gemara. And V'osik, V'esik, and then I'm going to go. I want to hear, because I want to leave my Rebbe, I'll go to my Rebbe and I'll hear from him something. and then I'll go to Eretz Yisrael.
First 4 days in order to forget it.
Yeah, Reb Zayda. Yeah, Reb Zayda.
And then he got it back
Huh?
to Smaton.
Sagir said 40, 80, 100. So Reb Zayda wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael, but he wanted to say goodbye to Rav Yehuda. Sorry. So he came to his Rebbe. Ozal Eshkei the Koi Beibani, he was in the bath. The Kamer Lashama, he said to Shama Shavili Nesek, bring me soap. Avili Masrik, bring me a comb. Poschu Pumaichu.
Open your mouth.
He opened your mouth. So Bemis Kudi Shamash was with him. So he told his Shamash what to do. In other words, he was telling him what's the healthy thing to do when you're in the bath. To open your mouth, Vapiku Habla, and let the heat go into your body. Vishtu Mimai de Bebani, and drink from the water in the bathhouse. Mikveh water thing. Yeah. Omar, he said that Ibzeda said, I said, die. This is good enough. Bishleim, when he asked for the soap, he asked for a brush. What did he learn? Even though he was speaking Balashon Kodesh in the Merchitz, but because of Dvarim Shachar is mutter. When he said that when you're in the bath, you should open your mouth and let the heat go into your body to the shmolda. Havla mapik havla. When a person is in the bath and lets the heat go into his body, that allows that the heat of his body, the zayah, should go out and it's healthy.
That's why the bedroom in summer wearing a chair.
Okay. At least the my bebani, my mal yusa. What's the mile from drinking water? The Tanya, the Tanya will a person that eats, but he didn't drink. It's very bad. It's not healthy. It's not good for the mayayim. It could bring him to have tremendous choili because he's not going to be able to digest food. If he doesn't walk before he goes to sleep a little bit, so the Rashi says that the food is not misakol good. They're not digesting well, so it becomes rokov, because when it digests, then it turns into zevel. He goes to the bathroom the next day. That's what happens. A person has a re'echra from his mouth because the food didn't digest properly. And this a person that needs to go to the bathroom, he ate before he went to the bathroom, is not healthy. It's like tanur. Instead of cleaning out the offer, putting in fresh coals, he left the old schmutz there, and he put coals on top of it, and it's not going to burn well. It's not going to be good. Same thing here. A person has to go to the bathroom first, empty out his stomach before he puts new food inside.
I still go by when I fill up kids and the highway, that stuff. Buy a hot dog and you go to the bath.
Oh, it's going mazuma. The going mazuma. The person that doesn't make sure to go to the bathroom before he eats, that makes that the whole body has a certain zuma, and it becomes a reach. Kol gufim mezum b'zeh tamim. It obviously a healthy person has zayah, but this is an unhealthy zayah. A person that washes b'chama, doesn't drink, you have to be the tanner, you have to. It's not good. You stay from the inside. It's the same thing here. He has to let some hot water into his goof from the inside. What does that? Yeah, exactly. Person that later doesn't put a little bit sign over his goof. It's not good. Barzel, the malachas habarzel is that you put in very, very, very hot, becomes mamish white, and then it's bendable, and afterwards you put it into the hot, cold water, and then it becomes strong. Same thing here. A person that bathes in very, very hot water should later put cold water over his goof, and that's healthy.
When you finish the shower, you cool water a couple of seconds.
Yeah, that's considered healthy according to the Gemara. A person that's reiches, but he's not soch with shemen, is that doesn't go in. That there's a certain it has to absorb. In order for the rechitza to absorb, go into the goof in a healthy way, there's a few types of sicha. We're not talking about the sicha that for perfume over here. We're talking about, it seems that in those days that there was Sicha Lab Dafka was for what people say like men's cologne. It seems that the derech was that they would put oil on their goof. That it was medarke refuah. Many of us don't need it. The shampoos and the soaps that we have, it's not so much necessary. But they do have, because that's what I'm saying. They do have components inside that has that shemen, the shumon, that they put into the soaps and the shower, the soaps that we have. So it already has it. That's what I'm saying. The shemen over here in the Gemara is not talking about. That's something else. It's not talking about cologne. It's talking about a certain oils that they would put that's good for the skin, good for the goof. That the goof, the Yiddish goof is there choshev tzim Rebbeinu Shalom. That's why the Gemara wants that Yid should be healthy, because that's a chelik of Torah. Chelik of Torah is that a Yiddish goof should be healthy.
The melachim was to be mashur in the Shem.
Yeah,
Can be pure, healthy, clean, and also it's closer.
that's like very good. Exactly. Thank you, everyone that's joining us.
Koyach, thank you, Rabbi. It's Koyach.